Good afternoon. And why are the WPATH files not on mainstream media? My name's Ben, and this is the problem with being awake. The WPATH files is a leaked document by the guy who leaked the Twitter files and fully verified from the World Professional Association of Transgender Health, WPATH. Now, the evidence in these files is pretty damning, and some really quite big people online have gone into it, but it's not showing up on legacy media. We in England have two publications, The Guardian and The Telegraph. They've got online articles about it, but not in print. Nothing from BBC, nothing from CNN, nothing from Sky News. And why is that? And the scope of that scandal is so big that it should have been front page and centre for ages until they were shut down. So what effectively it is this transgender surgery that's been going on for longer than we expected, to younger and younger people than we expected, is not a safe surgery. They were asked to produce long-term effects of the safety of the surgery, and they couldn't do that, but they can produce long-term negative health effects. As an example, they threaten parents, as principle, they threaten parents that their child will commit suicide if not allowed to transgender their sex. In fact, the reality of it is, in terms of people who feel gender dysphoria, suicide rates are at their peak in the 2 years after surgery, so around 19. Teenage suicide rates have climbed, just exponentially, just climbed up. A couple of spikes, like Instagram, Twitter, TikTok's probably a big one, but it's generally linked to social media. Transgenderism is not. The WPATH were advising the NHS, so that's how powerful they are. They've been endorsed by the World Health Association, the American Medical Association, American Pediatric Association, and loads of other government bodies, including the body that controls healthcare for the whole of the UK, took all of their guidance without question from WPATH. Now, thankfully, there's now an 8-year waiting list for transgender operations on the NHS, and they're probably not going to get them unless, and hopefully they don't, but there is a risk that people will start to get this done privately. And here is a warning: it is experimental surgery. They have no long-term results that are positive. So they also don't tell. They operate on patients who aren't fully aware what's happening. They operate on patients and not tell them the truth until afterwards. And there's a video amongst these files, which is their directors talking amongst each other. And these aren't experts. These are just experimental scientists. They're not even all scientists or surgeons, but they run this organisation that has basically called itself the world's premier information around sexual transition. So my question comes back to, why is it not in CNN? Why is it not on the BBC or the ITV? Why is it being hidden from the public? Except if you type WPATH, so that's WPATH News, into Google search, you'll see the articles come straight up. And you can also see a link, and I've got it here, so just looking at it. Environmentalprogress.org, big news, WPATH. So you type environmental progress and WPATH, WPATH, into Google. You can actually read the files for yourself, and you'll be horrified. The results will be, they'll make you sick to your stomach. And I'm glad the NHS decided not to use WPATH's guidance, and they were the first to do that, hence the waiting list. I don't think they'll ever reopen that because we can't be seen to be knowingly doing experimental surgery. It's the biggest medical scandal of our lifetime. It's bigger than lobotomy, bigger than, well, no one professionally can think of a bigger medical scandal in history. So it's big and it's serious and it's affecting a whole load of people, and a whole load of people who wouldn't want the end result. Because having, as a therapist and working with people who had gender dysphoria, it wasn't my specialty. I only saw 5 to 7 clients. But that was when it was a mental health disorder in 2019, when the World Health Organization declassified it. But imagine, that's 5 years ago. It was a mental health disorder, and the rates of people getting it were 0.003 in women and 0.001 in men, or 4 in men. So that's 3 zeros in the male calculation and 2 zeros in the female. Now we're seeing more males say they're women, which is obviously sceptical and debatable, and less women saying they're men. Whereas biologically, the reason why someone might feel gender dysphoria is it's still at that same rate. It's a fraction of a percentage. But we're hearing about communities that are 30% trans, and it makes a mockery of the people who really do suffer from it. And it is a shame, actually, because there is things that the NHS can do. But their hands are kind of tied now because of this scam that WPATH have run. And people who really need the operation won't get it. So guys, look into it, make a stink. I'm going to do it. I'm going to set a petition. I'm going to set it underneath here. Make a stink. Do something to stop the madness of abusing and just operating on kids who know better and trust the doctors that are lying to them. It's all in the file, so you can double check all of this yourself. And there's lots of videos about it as well. Please do not let it happen. Be good.